Good evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. On the programme this evening in Bengaluru, 2 days after an inquiry was ordered, cases have been filed, people have been suspended. The Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar spotlighted these to underscore that his government is doing all that it can in the tragic Bengaluru Stampede cases. The Deputy Chief Minister, surrounded by a posse of reporters and officials, sought to know what more the government can do. The opposition party was asking for a judicial inquiry immediately. My Chief Minister was kind enough to announce this, said Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. 11 people died in a crowd crush outside a Bengaluru stadium as tens of thousands turned up to cheer the Royal Challenger Bengaluru's title win in the IPL earlier in this week. Some of the investigations are underway. The financial inquiry, judicial investigation. What more can the government do is what Mr. Shivkumar said. That's an answer which many suggest is just not enough. The Bengaluru Police Commissioner, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's political secretary and the head of the Information Department are among those who've been suspended since Wednesday, the day of the tragedy. Well, joining us now, Prashad Bidappa, Chetan Ahimsa, Chudi Shivaram, Sanjay Sahai, the former ADGP, Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda and Deepak Thimaya. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. Prasad Bidappa, the fact that there now appears to be prima facie pressure which was put from the Chief Minister's office. Apparently the police said that they can't go ahead and do this. Then somebody from the Chief Minister's office, apparently the Chief Minister's secretary, said, no, you must go ahead. Is there therefore enough accountability at the political level?
Truly, this is one of the great tragedies to ever happen in Bangalore. And it's really very distressing and everyone's extremely upset about it over here. And my heart really goes out to the victims of the stampede. But at the end of the day, I think nobody quite expected the scale of what was going to unfold. Nobody ever anticipated these hundreds of thousands of people turning up. Just everyone and their mother went to see, the homecoming and to congratulate Virat, who's hugely popular over here. I think it just spun out of control. But having said that, I think the government and the police also have to accept responsibility for what's happened. Because, you have to put arrangements into place. You can't do something of this scale and expect this kind of hysteria to happen. And there was a taste of it the previous day. You could see what kind of crowds were turning up. You saw it the previous day at the Vidhan Sauda. And then on the day of the homecoming, things just spun out of control completely. And it's really a tragedy. I have no words to express my sorrow, really.
Gowda, as spokesperson of the BJP in Karnataka, is it your belief that more needs to be done from the political leadership? The fact that there is now apparently a clear line which suggests that there was political pressure to go ahead with, the celebrations, that the police at one stage may have said that, look, we can't really do it. Despite that, they went ahead and did it. Isn't that the root of the problem?
Yes, sir. It was the criminal apathy on the part of the government's Congress dispensation in the state of Karnataka. That's I would rather say it is a state orchestrated stampede. They have given the open invitation to the fans to come and attend the program, that victory celebration program, and with that they have announced they didn't do any crowd management strategy. They didn't do any extra precautionary steps to avoid the stampede. They've done with lots of with a myopic vision. They didn't do any thought about it. They didn't give any thought about it. The close source says that the police administration, the Bengaluru City Commissioner, Mr. Dayanand, has given a clarion call to them that this would happen. This cannot be held at this point in time, at this juncture, he said, and they have not listened to him. To protect them, it's an act of protectionism to protect themselves. They have sacked this official. We strictly condemn this. He is a known apprentice officer, Mr. Dayanand. We actually, any suspension of the officer above the level of ADGP is a governmental failure, because most of the police officials, they work in collaboration and in consonance with the ruling dispensation. That they've suspended this official and including the Bengaluru City Commissioner means that they should also get sacked. When will Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. D.K. Shivkumar resign? Taking the moral responsibility.
Thimaya, would you like to respond to that?
When will
the
Rahul
Chief
Gandhi
Minister
take
must
their
resign.
resignation?
That's the demand of the BJP. How would you respond?
The BJP wants some excuse or the other because they've been waiting for anything unfortunate to happen in Karnataka because, Karnataka has not been having any drought, no power shortage, no problem at all. So if at all you cannot really oust the government because of your political achievements that people have seen when you
Mr.
were in
Timaya,
power.
aren't you
Now
belittling the death of 11 people in the state,
No, we
possibly
understand
because
very
there was
well,
an event which was taking place which shouldn't have happened?
Mr. Som, could you just, give me examples of how many BJP chief ministers have actually resigned because, some stampede happened
Does
in their
that mean
state?
that your chief minister shouldn't?
I'm not drawing parallels.
Of course you are.
Just trying to tell you. Yes, I'm just giving you an example. But Karnataka at least has suspended the police commissioner, the intelligence chief, the political secretary. Let me tell you, there have been instances like particularly this great railways minister. Even after 200 accidents, he doesn't even feel anything for the people who travel in the trains. But let me tell you, Karnataka government has tried everything to give out a message that they are very serious, and nobody wanted this, and nobody was waiting for this. But you've seen the kind of euphoria that was there the day RCB won. Even the BJP guys were celebrating. BJP wanted an open bus to carry all these players, and they conveniently deleted the tweet, which everybody has seen. But let me tell you, they also went on to call the home minister, coward or whatever it is, because he didn't allow an open bus. And today they say that why did you want to do this? But let me tell you, with the kind of frenzy that was there, no government could have stopped people from celebrating. The government just became part of it. Let me tell you, there was some mistake in terms of decisions that were made. Let me tell you, people also say that this IPL, this is basically commercial and things like that. But when people want something like that, the government cannot be absolutely apathetic and say that, we
Mr.
don't care
Timaya,
about
a couple
what
of
people
key
feel.
points over here. It is the job of the government to govern. If that means saying no, it means saying no. You cannot say that a government can be apathetic or whatever it is and let people do whatever. Then you end up having people dying. But I think the larger question is the secretary to the chief minister having been suspended.
You know that.
Is it not true that the secretary to the chief minister was somebody who actually said, no, let's go ahead with all of this, when the police actually said
that has to be
it needs to have been delayed or postponed?
I'm not an authority, or I'm not competent to comment about who made a call to whom, because I'm not the intelligence chief of Karnataka.
But that's the problem. Was there any intelligence chief? And this is the other part of the problem.
There was, and he has been moved out of that position now.
So basically what you're saying is that it's the police which is at fault, the political leadership?
No. It is being investigated. Why do you come to the conclusion so fast?
But how have you reached the conclusion that the police is wrong so fast and the political leadership isn't? How have you reached that conclusion that the police is responsible and the political leadership isn't?
The police have just been suspended. They have not.
Right. And what about political leaders who've been? Should there be not more action about those?
Okay, maybe that is coming in, but let me tell you that, the government is actually studying. It's a matter of almost about 5 to 6 lakh people, with about 2 lakh people near Vidhan Saud and about 3.5 lakh people near Chinnaswamy Stadium, and so many people all around. Let me tell you, you will have to take some time to come to a conclusion.
Okay.
Let me tell you, there are some kinds of celebrations which happen when they have to happen. People may not agree. Let me tell you, there was this frenzy and the government just joined in. Maybe that is something that has to be thought about. But such things happen, and I'm very sorry this has happened. The government wanted to give as best a governance as possible. Nobody's intention is that anybody should die.
Okay, Chetan Ahimsa, is that response okay for you? Such things happen. It's not the government's intention to cause any harm. Does that, as an explanation, work for you?
I'm not convinced. First of all, we're all deeply saddened that 11 people have lost their lives. Number one, we have to look at it in two phases. Number one, we have to look at it that this is clearly an avoidable tragedy, and we lack a forward-thinking leadership and political leadership. And number two, what are they doing after the fact? And how are they acting? Number one, we say that this seemed to be a PR stunt, seemed to get benefits, was done right away without proper thought process and preparation and execution that led to this, so this is avoidable. Secondly, who is the ones that are being blamed for this? You're blaming the police top brass for this. Police have proven, if they're given time, For example, when Puneet Rajkumar's funeral, when lakhs came in, well, they can handle the situation. And the police have also said that push it to Sunday, it'll be a free day. That's what the sources say. But you're still blaming the police, and seems to be blaming the wrong people. In fact, like our DCM, DK Shukumar, he actually went to HAL and gave these guys a red carpet welcome who are corporate sponsored cricket players, and he seemed to be holding the cup for a PR gimmick. I mean, shouldn't you be held responsible? Why don't you take the moral responsibility and resign, Mr. DK Shukumar, for the 11 lives and really be a true leader? And we look at Mr. Yatindra Siddaramaiah talk. He says, no, the Vidhan Sauda event had nothing to do with the Chinnaswamy event. They're two different events. First of all, the Vidhan Sauda event, we don't need that. It doesn't have to be on the same day, two events. What does the Vidhan Sauda and the Karnataka government have to even do with this corporate club that is the RCB and the IPL? Why do you have it? Number three, you know that there's a limited amount of police force. It was already chaos in the night before. They are already tired. You put a whole bunch of police force where the VIPs and the Vidhan Sauda, and there's going to be a lack of police force in the Chinnaswamy Stadium. And this is for like these CM's grandson to get an autograph. This is for Jameel Ahmed's son to get autographs. I mean, this is clearly self-serving. And then I also asked the RCB players, I mean, a tweet, is that enough? These are 11 people who gave their lives because they wanted to see you. They cared about you. They admired you. They worthy or not, you're deserving or not is a different question. But you should have the right. You should actually talk about this, come out and express your sadness for this and what has happened and people giving their lives. We are very dismayed that these RCB players, they might say Isala Kap Namde and mouth a couple Kannada dialogues for profit, but they're clearly not showing any kind of remorse or sadness for the death of what has happened. And we expect more.
Sanjay Sahai, the other aspect of this is the RCB itself. The head of marketing and others who the police are now investigating. Do we not need to also take a look at how, they perhaps are equally culpable in this entire case?
I think we start with something which has already been stated on this program, that there was a frenzy. The government joined, people had to pay, and finally it was the police which was made a scapegoat. So I think it precisely summarizes as to what is the sentiment and what has happened in practice. The capability of the political class, not only in Karnataka, to create man-made fatal tragedies and the capability to get away with it, I think it is the most successful democratic formula which has been created and successfully been doctored to us all the while. So what has happened is, in the last 3 days, we have been able to successfully create a smoke screen. And this smoke screen will provide cover to the people who actually decided. And people who actually decided, I don't think they're a part of whatever the contours which are made so far. Now coming to the RCB and KSCA part of it. RCB and KSCA part of it, if that is to be taken, there is a culpability involved and there is a criminal negligence involved. So they are being booked for that, and there is also action being taken against them if that is the case. But my understanding is, on the face of it, and for any rational person, and I'm a Bangalorean for ages, see, to be an unwritten consent with which this whole exercise has happened. And as in the case of anything which falls flat, gets broken, or ends into a fatality, now people start cribbing amongst themselves and try to put blame on the other. It is a technical issue whether they have taken permission or not. Whether it was known or it was not known, that is the critical issue. And the whole country knows that the government of Karnataka, the police, KSC, RCB, everybody was aware of it. And each of these stakeholders, they wanted to extract their pound of flesh. And that drama went awry. And it ended in wherever it has ended.
No, but Mr. Sahai,
the whole thing is operated out of social media.
No, but Mr. Sahai, what does it say of the police force that, they came under political pressure, apparently, allegedly, and then they looked the other way when this madness happened?
See, there is nothing called political pressure in this country. Everything is run by the political class. See, gone are the days.
No, Mr. Sahai, you have been an exemplary police officer. 1 minute, sir, Mr. Sahai. If you were confronted with this situation, the secretary to the chief minister says, sorry, you will go ahead with this function. Are you meaning to tell me that you will say, okay, sir, I'll go ahead and do it?
I have faced a number of these situations. If you want, I can narrate. But you should be able to stick your neck after that.
That's my point.
Yes.
That's my
And
point.
Very few,
The hallmark of
police
policing is
officers,
when you can turn up and tell the chief minister on his face, I am an authority, it is my job, I will not allow it.
Correct. And very few of the police officers will do that. The second point is, over decades, policing slowly has been dictated by political class in a manner that police officers also feel today that they are on the same page, and the political class also understands policing in exactly the same manner, and they have been talking of crowd management, they have been talking of criminality and criminal negligence in a manner which not even a police officer will talk about. The most important part is, Vidhan saw the program or whatever security arrangements. Who handled that? It's the same police which handled. It's same Dayanand who handled. And it's the same people who are handling in Chinnaswamy. Now, what is the great difference about it? It is exactly the same.
Ms. Shivaram, let me come to you first. You're a senior journalist and an eyewitness. Could you give me an idea of where you were and what you saw?
Vishnu, thank you for getting me on this program to say what I saw. It's very, very unfortunate. And when are we going to get human? You know, we're all discussing about arrests and heads rolling. The right heads have to roll. When are we going to get human? Because I saw 6 lifeless bodies of young kids being carried away. In a matter of 10 minutes, I saw 6 of them, one after another, lifelessly being carried on the shoulders of volunteers. What kind of a system are we in? What kind of governance do we have by the elected representatives? It's not about the blame game. It's not about someone taking responsibility, but it is all there to see. These kids have come there, you know, to celebrate, but what kind of a celebration did it end in? If there were some ambulances on the other side, gate 7, gate 8, or gate 10, where this happened, the kids didn't have to be carried 150 to 200 meters on shoulders of people. Probably the golden moment of saving them was lost. So who is responsible for not having ambulances at those gates? Second, the bodies of these kids have gone past, and just 10 meters on the other side is a celebration. The DJ is going on, pepping up the crowd. There is cheering. The players from the balcony are showing the cup, and people are celebrating. What kind of a society are we? When are we going to get human? Because it was really shameful that I was standing there and watching this drama of celebration. How can you say people are not culpable if they are knowing fully well so many deaths have happened? How can they be standing there and celebrating? I think we are a very inhuman society going by these standards. And yes, there was a stampede. Everybody knew about it. What was the risk management that was put in place? Why was there no anticipation? The crowds were building up from 1 o'clock. The surging crowds was there to see. Did we not have a plan B, a plan C in place for a risk management? The least they could have done is there was space for some ambulances to be put there. A team of paramedics could have been put there.
Yeah.
Lives could have been saved.
No, it's just shocking. Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, DK Shiv Kumar asking some questions. When asked, he says, how am I responsible? What more can the government do? And that the government has done everything to ensure justice. Is that an acceptable answer to you?
So only we call him as so callous, cavernous, inhuman, inhuman, and extremely inhuman. Because they're so insensitive that they'll pass such remarks even after saying the tragedy. It is the theory of karma that will definitely hit them back. It is the curse of the many innocent civilians and their family members. It will definitely hit them back. See, they have announced mere 11 lakh per family of the bereaved souls. It is not any justice served to the people of, justice served to the departed souls. And it is very meager amount. And I'm so sorry to tell this fact. Even the RCB players, they're so lucrative and they've earned thousands of crores out of these matches. And then none of them have bothered to visit even the hospitals, to visit even the injured patients, injured civilians. They've just run away. I don't know where are they now. They've just disappeared into the air. And these politicians, these callous and cavernous and inhuman politicians are running the ground. And definitely it will this karma Karnataka will definitely hit them back. And one more thing, we definitely require a judicial inquiry. We don't want anything lesser than that, because then only the justice will be served. And this condemnable act of sacking the police officials, including Mr. Dayanand, is also condemnable. We strictly condemn. Rather, they would come and resign on taking the moral ground. Rahul Gandhi, I don't know where is he now. Mr. Rahul Gandhi should tell them to give their resignation, both the CM and the deputy CM. Most probably it is the deputy CM. Both of them are directly responsible. Both of them are directly responsible to the death of the civilians.
Okay. Deepak Temaya, respond to that. The government, the leadership,
You really
responsible
want
for
me
the
to
deaths.
respond to the kind of things she has said about what perhaps is, sounds like 18th century jargon, like evil, karma, curse and things like that. We are
No,
in a
but I
civilized
think,
society.
why don't you just
We are in
answer
a
the
civilized
question,
society.
sir?
Let me tell you, let me actually answer like in a civilized society. Let me tell you, if people are responsible, I'm sure that they are wise enough to know whether they are responsible or not. But let me tell you, it is the job of the police to control, to do lati charge, or to actually, take action. It's not the job of politicians to go and hold a stick and to control people. When somebody has become the commissioner of police, he jolly well knows that, what kind of political pressure he might actually have, or the kind of decisions he will have to make. But let me tell you, when he doesn't give a letter in writing to KSCA saying that it is not possible for the police to give protection, and this was particularly a KSCA and RCB, event, and also the event that was conducted in front of the Vidhan Saudha, that was on the steps. The KSCA has written a letter to the government asking for permission for the use of the steps, and it's also specifically said the DCM and the CM were also invited. But let me tell you, this is very unfortunate. This is not the time for us to look around and say, you yourself know recently what happened in France. France has been seeing these riots for such a long time. Are you saying that the French government is so incapable that it could not foresee the kind of riots
No,
that
Mr. Temaya, what we do
all over the
know is
world?
that the police commissioner refused to agree to 3 events.
Where is it in writing? Where is it in writing? He can't say that,
This
that
is sir, for right or for wrong, some credible journalism is also based on sources, not fake sources, but real sources.
But there was
Right?
a requirement of any.
So apparently the commissioner said that there was no victory parade which would be acceptable. Mr. Govind
parade was
Raju
different from
persuaded the
holding a
commissioner. The chief secretary and the CMO had planned the Vidhan Saudha event. Are you denying this? That's my question. Are you denying this, sir?
The thing is that there was no victory parade and the victory parade was not permitted. And let me tell you, the open bus was not permitted. But people could have not been stopped to go and see their favorite players. And it was like an underestimation in terms of, because people had already seen the previous night how people had behaved after the win. And it had nothing to do with whether it's a private game or whether it was IPL was owned by somebody else or whatever. The government responded, whether government responding to the people's, aspirations and people's response. And I'm sure even then people would have said that, the government is so, insensitive to people's feelings. There must have been this big mistake.
All right, let me just go across to Prasad Bidappa. Mr. Bidappa, is it acceptable for you to hear that this was a government responding to the aspirations of people? Is it not the role of the government to equally deny people their aspirations if it's potentially a law and order situation?
Well, I think the one thing that they need to do is guarantee safety for every citizen, whatever the situation is. So does this point to a deeper malaise? Can we talk about the fact that the police are severely understaffed? There are thousands of vacancies in the police department in Karnataka that have not been filled by successive governments. Don't you think that that itself points to something being very rotten in the state of Denmark, so to speak? Don't you think that we should be addressing those problems and demanding answers to why the city is not policed properly? And is it because of a shortfall of staff? Does nobody care about the safety of the citizens, the safety of women, the safety of older people? We all deserve that right. This is something we expect from the government. We pay taxes for this reason. We need some kind of a guarantee of safety to step out in our own city to celebrate a very joyous occasion that went horribly wrong. But does this then not point to something far deeper, far more sinister, in the fact that we can leave so many thousands of jobs in the police force for a city as large as Bangalore, for a state as large as Karnataka, for a state that earns so much of India's GDP, contribute so much to the nation. We are such a hardworking bunch of people in this city. Everyone slogs their you-know-what off. But what is that guarantee we get back from the government to keep us safe, to keep us in a good situation? This is a beautiful city. Bangalore has a reputation for being one of the most beautiful cities in the country. I would not live anywhere else in this country but my beautiful Bengaluru. So what does it leave us with? That we always have to beg for protection, to beg for safety, to fend for ourselves. The government does have to answer these questions. And it's all very well to blame it on the police, but you can't beat them with a short stick and keep them short of personnel and then tell them you didn't do a good job. That doesn't make much sense to me at all.
All right, so there are several FIRs which are now being filed, and that's information now coming in. A lot of people wanting justice. A third FIR has been registered at the Cubbon Park police station in connection with the stampede. It was filed by C. Venu, a college student who sustained a serious leg injury. According to this FIR, the chaos was triggered by an overwhelming crowd. Venu alleges that the Royal Challengers Bangalore event organizers and the Karnataka State Cricket Association failed to control the crowd. This is clearly going, down the legal route. Ultimately, Ms. Shivaram, do you believe that that's where there will be justice in the courts?
I was just coming to that. We all know how much time it takes for the legal route to come to its conclusion, and by then public memory would have faded, headlines would have changed. But here is the thing, Vishnu. I also heard that some of them are going in for legal remedies. You could be legally right, but tell me, if somebody says that nothing happened within the premises of the stadium, so we are not responsible for something that happens outside the stadium,
There is no
is that
FIR.
really acceptable?
Yeah. How many minutes?
Is that acceptable? And second is, responding to Dayanand's issue, what is the role of the Home Minister? We don't know under what constraints or pressure Dayanand was working. I hope he speaks up and he comes out with it, knowing that he's a very upright officer. We don't know if the commissioner was ineffective, what was the Home Minister doing?
Okay. Chetan Ahimsa, what is the route that we should take in this country? Because in as much as whatever has happened in Bengaluru is absolutely horrific, every couple of months or a couple of times a year, we see stampede deaths. We see the police being overwhelmed. We see the numbers being too large. We see all sorts of political pressures. Is this not part of a larger malaise?
We need a long-term solution. Number one, in terms of the police, we definitely need a massive police reform system that needs to be done. And you see the police from Tuesday night, they were working till 3 or 4. Next day, they were divided in terms of they're outmanned, outnumbered, and it was very problematic. You can't blame them. If they would have waited some days, police could have definitely brought in other forces and handled it. Also, if you look at RCB matches consistently, I'm not just talking about what happened on Wednesday. Every RCB match, that goes on in Bengaluru by MG Road is a possible stampede in and of itself. What we need to do is, these are cramped streets, these are a lot of people, these are mob frenzy. What you have to do, a long-term solution, I say, instead of keeping an MG Road in Chinnaswamy Stadium, somewhere outside the city where there's a lot more space and it can be handled, law and order can be protected, people can enjoy, and there can also be law and order maintained in terms of rain. Also, we must not conflate RCB and IPL with Karnataka pride and Kannada pride. These must be divorced. Okay. Kannada has a rich history, whether it be Ranji, whether it be our cultural literary traditions. These are fantastic. RCB, you can enjoy, that's entertainment, but that is a corporate, business-oriented model that is interested in its profits. It does not represent Karnataka or Bangalore, even if it takes its name. And I personally don't feel this kind of fan hysteria is problematic overall, and this should be mended, and there should be awareness that goes on overall.
Mr. Sai, in terms of police reform, certainly dealing with this sort of thing and the larger issue of political pressure, despite whatever you swear on oath as you join the service, clearly doesn't work. What can be done?
In 2006, the very famous Prakash Singh judgment came. And after that, every single government in this country have fallen into contempt of the judgment. And they have been fighting, and somehow everything is lost. There were issues of State Security Commission. So that did not come into existence. There are issues related to criminal investigation being bifurcated from normal law enforcement. Think of a situation, there was a State Security Commission in Karnataka as it stands today. And there was a criminal investigation wing which was not directly in control of the Karnataka government. Things would have been totally different. So everything here in this country is decided. Well, see, first is the omission part of it, or you don't allow the law to even get initiated. Now in this case, now everybody is under scrutiny. But the people who are heading, they are not under scrutiny. The point is, will you, if you are there in a sticky situation of this nature, will you punish yourself? And what are the mechanisms of putting any minister or anybody, taking him to the dock? See, police reforms has become a very fanciful subject. And in 1989, when I joined the Indian Police Service, at that particular point in time, it was taught in the manner which it is taught today. 35 years have passed down the line. No state government wants to give up control over the police. And when you're talking about suspension and whatever, lots of things which Dayanand did not do, and that day everything happened only because the police and the RCB and all that. Who posted these guys?
Yeah.
You looked into their careers, you looked into their capabilities, and every single posting is done by the political establishment, right?
Yeah.
Had he not allowed the Chinnaswamy Stadium to happen, I'm near that he wouldn't have remained also.
All right, look, we'll leave it over there. It is so tragic. Again, is this going to be something that's going to be swept under the carpet in terms of our public memory? You know, this sort of thing happens. Will anyone remember those 11 young lives snuffed out in this horrific manner in such an important city in our country, one of the world's great cities, right? How could something like this be allowed to happen? We'll leave it over there.